Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hello.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about when you don't need title insurance. This is going to be a shocker. Great show today, Jill. Before we get started, share something funny that happened to you recently. Or else.
Happened to me. So I'd like it to be all about me, but no, we don't. It's
JustJill.com.
That's right. That's so funny. So no, I promised you a story, so I have a good one. So Thursday night in Boca Raton, we are at this resort is huge, by the way. It's 360 acre property.
Jeez.
I am not kidding.
360 acres?
I am not kidding. I mean, we're talking retired professional tennis players are who you get lessons from there. Now, they do cost $6,000 a day for the lesson, but that's what's there. I'm like, holy cow. So my girlfriend and I, we decided we're going to go over to the beach resort. You can either get there by boat ferry during the day or there's a shuttle at night. So we took the shuttle over because it was at night. We're like, all right, it's Thursday night. We're here at the beach part. It's got to be more happening in the main resort. Let's see what's going on. And we couldn't, it was like there was a couple of restaurants, a couple of bars, but nothing really good happening. So we're walking around trying to find, someone that can really tell us, where do we need to go here? Come on, we're in Boca Raton. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of money here, obviously. Where's everybody hanging out? Kind of thing. So they told us where to go, and so we're trying to figure out, how we want to get there. We're going to, just grab an Uber or something. And they kind of look at us and go, hey, this guy's name is Steve. Steve can give you a ride. And Steve looks around and goes, yeah, I guess I can. So Steve runs in, grabs the keys, walks out, and puts us in the back of the Maserati because it's a hotel Maserati. Wow. I know. And this is what's so funny. It's technically for emergencies. So we're all laughing about we had a dinner girl night emergency that we needed to arrive, and it was really cute. It was cute because he was laughing because he's always looking for a reason to drive the hotel Maserati around. So he delivered us to where we needed to go, and we had a nice time. It was really funny though.
Please tell me you got a picture of this.
I do have a picture of the hotel Maserati. Yeah, and it has a personalized license plate. It says beach something. I can't remember what it was, but I think it says beach club. That's it, because the car is set up to stay at the beach club part of the resort. So it's just hilarious.
That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Hey, let's take a question posted by one of our members on successplan.com, our free online community.
Okay. Curtis asked, hey guys, got a few different signed offer letters back on our recent campaign where the properties are surrounded by BLM, Bureau of Land Management, and private properties. In order to get access onto the properties, you'd have to go through BLM, Bureau of Land Management, from the main roads. I asked the county if that was okay, and they said to get permission from the Bureau of Land Management.
That's the right answer.
I've reached out to them a few times, but I haven't heard back to confirm. BLM's website seems like it may be okay to drive through, but I didn't want to assume anything. Have any of you guys bought land surrounded by Bureau of Land Management? If so, do you need anything formal granting permission to cut through to get to your parcel? Thanks.
This is an excellent question. And just like yesterday, we're getting some great questions.
Yeah.
Proud of our members. The answer is yes, I've purchased tons of property that's all surrounded by Bureau of Land Management, and it's a huge attribute. We haven't talked about it in a while, but we judge the quality of the properties that we buy by the 4 A's. Acreage, the larger the better. Affordability, the cheaper the better. Access? The better access, access is ultra important. And then 4 is what? Attribute, right? Well, BLM, it's never going to be built on. Barring some strange stuff, there's an extremely good chance that so being surrounded by Bureau of Land Management property is great. Do you technically have to have permission to access it? I think the answer is no. And I would sell it that way. I would say, look, this is surrounded by BLM. Isn't that great? It adjoins all this property. And, if you want to get technical about it, and maybe if you want to build a cabin on it or something like that, you might have to get permission. And from what I hear, it doesn't take too long. You have to go through the process. Every office is different. And sometimes they're really good about it and they do it really quickly. Sometimes not. But I don't think this is going to deter anyone from purchasing the property. In fact, I think it's a great attribute. And I hope that answers it, Jill.
Yeah, I have a question. My understanding, tell me if I'm wrong, is a lot of the time, maybe it's Army Corps of Engineer. Okay, I'm getting BLM confused with Corps of Engineer, because Corps of Engineer land is for like irrigation and things like that, right? Okay. So does BLM ever serve those kind of needs too?
Honestly, the property that I've seen with Corps of Engineer issues, and it's in the deed. It's right, actually in the legal description. Okay. So you're going to usually find it there.
I can't imagine even if it was like one big circle or a BLM land around your big property, that they would restrict. No. There's just no legal way that they could do that.
I mean, it's like an Area 51 X-Files thing. The feds are going to do whatever they want. That's the reality of
it. Love it. That's it.
I know. I purchased here's a funny story. I purchased a bunch of property one time. It was like 10 lots, and it was the 10 lots in the middle of a state park. I mean, in the middle of a federal park. And it turned out that they were incredibly valuable. It was the only private property for hundreds of miles.
Oh, that made it more of an attribute. Oh my
gosh. This is a long time ago. We did fantastic on those properties. I just talked to another member, our senior member of our group, who did the same thing. And he had the same, he's like, I can't buy these. We can't get to them. I said, man, you better buy those as fast as you can. Yeah. And he did great on them too. So in his particular case, there were no roads to the property, but I said, you still should buy these because it's just a great thing. Nothing's going to be built there. Mm-hmm. I mean, man, what a great attribute. So this whole topic, I went through this exact thing in great detail with a different member recently on a call, and he was very concerned about it. I guess, I've never been concerned about it, but I guess it's good that they are.
Honestly, I think you have once or twice you have buyers that really sincerely want property that it's hard for people to get to. They want a GPS. They want an adventure. Yeah. They want a 4-wheel and go out and put a tent up and camp there. And that's all they can do there. And they're excited about that. You have one or two of those buyers. You go, okay, I get it. That's one of the things that I constantly tell our new members is that, hey, hold on a moment. Just because it's not your cup of tea doesn't mean that somebody else won't love it. Yeah. I've learned that over time. I want to be in a small place. I know by the water because I love all the people in the commotion. But for a lot of people where I want to be, they would go, oh gosh, get me the heck out of here. I hate it. So you can never assume. So
it's funny you bring that up because from where I'm doing the show with you, this, Jill, from our townhouse in Old Town Scottsdale.
Yeah.
About 20 yards from us, a micro developer just put up 3 houses, and they range from $900,000 to $1.4 million. Mm-hmm. And so, you want to talk about attributes? Jill and I paid $80,000 cash from a bank during the downturn for the townhouse that we live in, and it's the same lifestyle.
I know.
We're access to the same restaurants. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
They have a lot more square footage, but so what?
Yeah.
I mean, geez, that much more? That's just so, yeah, I mean, in a roundabout way, we're saying the same thing.
Wonder what that place is worth right now. I don't want to look because we're not going to sell. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to know.
I'll give you multiple.
With the upgrades and everything. Let's see.
It's worth about 4 times.
Yeah. Okay.
Just below 4 times what we paid. Okay.
We're still not,
I should say.
I still don't want to sell.
Jill, heck no. Jill gutted the thing and it's gorgeous now.
Thanks.
I love it more than living in a big, huge house. Way more.
Yep. Thank you.
What's the show about?
Oh, yeah.
If you have a question or you want to be the show, reach out to either one of us on successplant.com. I was told by our staff that we had the busiest weekend since we opened that website.
On Success Plant?
Success Plant, yeah, from a number of questions and a bandwidth and the whole thing. It's working out really well.
Good. I was in there a bit last night, so I am glad. Maybe it was me.
Did you just hit the enter key like 7,000 times?
Yeah, totally. I logged in, logged out. I was having all kinds of tech issues. Just kidding. No.
Today's topic, when do you need title insurance and when don't you? Well, a lot of people are shocked by this. A lot of people say, you always need title insurance. Absolutely, you need car insurance 100% of the time. It's the law. You have to have your house insured, right? You don't. What if it burns down? Well, that's not the case with real estate, and people are shocked by this. And it takes a little bit of a learning curve to understand how and why. So here's our rule, and then I'll back up from there, and you may or may not apply it to yourself. In this asset type, what's so funny about
I'm sorry, that's a good. You may or may not apply this to yourself.
Well, a lot of people clicked
The
off.
things Jack says.
A lot of people clicked off the whole show just now.
The crap Jack says. That's hilarious. I wrote that one down.
With their asset type, which is, it's land, vacant land. Most of the time, you can't, if it's unimproved, get financing. So you have to pay cash or you're not going to own it. And that prompts a lot of people to sell their property, and it drives prices down, in my opinion. So when we pay less than $5,000 for a property or a group of properties, we consciously do not get title insurance. And just because I don't believe that there's really anything that's going to go wrong with the property. So it's for a number of reasons. Number one, we kind of do a title agent thing ourselves. We look at the vesting deed. We go through the motions, probably 80 or 90% of the motions of what a regular title agent would do anyway. Does this person own it? Is the chain of title before it okay? Is there basic access? And on and on and on. So we elect not to add $800 to $1,000 to the price to get title policy. Now, sometimes they buy the people who buy from us, they say, oh, I'm going to put a house on this and live there. Then they come back to us and say, help us get title insurance, and that's fine. But in general, there are many, many times, I would say, Jill, probably 50% of what we buy, maybe 60%, we don't get title insurance. Mm-hmm. So it's not as unsafe as people think. Now, should you buy a skyscraper this way? Absolutely not. And I want to bring up now, too, that there's a Schedule B exception in all title policies. And if you're in the business or thinking about try to get in the business, try to get a policy and take a look at those Schedule B exceptions. You're going to be shocked at what's accepted. It's what is excluded in a regular title policy. It's a lot of the normal stuff that you'd think would be included. Mm-hmm. So my whole point to this podcast is, you don't need title insurance all the time. You think you do, probably, because almost all the real estate you've probably already been exposed to contains a lender, and the lender makes you get it.
I was just going to add like an exception here and there, just so you know, there's always going to be an exception. So I don't want anyone to take it like, well, they never do under $5,000, so I never do under $5,000. There are times that we do. There are properties that are worth way, way, way more than that. Maybe I'm buying it for $3,000. I have just done this recently. And you know what? It was such a great deal. And there was a need for title insurance because one of the family members was not still with us. And then there was I can't remember, someone in the hospital, not really coherent, So there now and then might be a need where you go, you know what? This is one of those, I'm only buying it for $3,000 and I'm going to sell it for $15,000. I could afford to put a little into it to do the title insurance, which I think was like $800 or something like that in the end, $750, $800. So it was worth it. And then what I do then, of course, like Jack said, is now the property's even a little more valuable because it comes with title insurance. So that's a good thing. The other thing I wanted to point out for me is, like when you were describing, Jack, how we go back and we really are looking up and doing our own homework, and we're going back and looking at the vesting deed and even sometimes beyond the vesting deed because we have access to that. I'm acting as a title agent. That's why I feel so good about these. And if I'm buying a property for $1,000 and I have the vesting deed in my hand and the same husband and wife, are selling it and they're alive today and they've owned it since 1962 and they paid the taxes all the way up till today, I'm feeling pretty good about this, that I don't need title insurance. So that's why I don't.
You know what? That's a good ground, like boots on the ground way to describe it.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how I do it.
When I began this whole thing, I like most people, I never knew that you could buy it without title insurance. So I was getting policies out. I was buying property for $500 and spending $800 on a title policy. And I finally wised up to it and said, I don't think I need to do this.
You know what I think too? Here's a good way to think about it. It's got to be really clear cut, number one. But if the title policy is more than the property that you're buying, then you really should think about it. No, seriously, because if it all went all sideways and you refunded the buyer, you know what I mean, or whatever, you're still ahead.
Yeah, here's another thing. If you're buying a group of properties, Jill and I do this all the time. I love multi-unit deals. So if you're buying 10 or 15 or 20 properties from one person, and you can allocate the cost of an $800 policy out throughout, because it doesn't cost very much to get for multiple properties to get title insurance. It's still $800 or $900 for all of them. Then you really want to do it. And when you do it, you want to take that PDF, scan it in, and put it on the posting all over the internet. It makes it more valuable so they can do a little more research. It just separates you from the next person, the next seller down the line.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it just doesn't make financial sense. I mean, I have a ad campaign that I was putting together last night and this morning that I found one of our members put in Success Plan. He's just nonstop buying properties for $100, selling them for $1,000 all day long. And it was like, thank you for sharing that. And I thought, I'm gonna make a little campaign, and I'm gonna do a little thing and put it out there to show everybody this is the real stuff. So, am I gonna sit and buy with $100, selling it for $1,000? Exactly.
So can you give the person's first name or not?
It starts with an L.
Oh, so it's Luke. We have like multiple Lukes. We don't know.
We have multiple Lukes. I think it's the first Luke, but it's just so darn funny. So yeah, he just put a little note in about I just found a little niche here. I'm just going to keep on doing these, and I'm like, brilliant. People don't believe that it happens, and it happens all the time.
No.
Think about it. $100 is $1,000. Just do it all the time. That's all you do. If that's your business model, you'll be just fine.
We were on the last call. We have a membership call every Thursday. Jill and I do. We hosted. It's all Q&A. We talk about stuff. And so this question came up. So I'm buying more expensive property. How should I write the offers? Obviously, I'm not going to buy $100 for this. It's more expensive. And I said, that's great and you should offer a little bit more for more expensive property. And there's formulas that we talk about and all that. But in the end, what you're really doing is finding a situation, not a piece of property. And I can hear everybody go on the other end of this thing.
Right.
You're not looking for property. You're looking for a situation, a seller situation. So whether they have a $100,000 property or a $4,000 or $10,000 or $1,000 property, you want to offer them a lot less in most cases. So price doesn't matter.
Jack, you just touched on it. That is the key. People go, what do you mean you don't look at it? I'm not looking at it like that. Like you just said, to you and I, it's numbers. Mm-hmm. To everybody else, it's a sunset. We don't look at it like that.
Yeah, it's not the real estate.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand on it and think about how pretty my cabin's going to be. That's for the end user.
Yeah, the end user.
I'm the flipper in the middle. I'm like, yep, this makes sense. Buy it, flip it, move on. So there you go.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
and inspiration, that's me,
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I'm so jealous that you're in California right now.
I know. I'm sorry you're not here.
That's all right.
How fast can you get out here?
Soon enough, it'll happen.
Okay.
Our new operations guy's killing it. He and I worked all weekend together on about 4 projects, and some amazing stuff's going to come up.
Cool.
We're right on schedule, and we're web enabling our CRM application really a lot faster than I thought it was going to happen. So we're going to develop a product so that our members, certain members, can access that and use the exact same. I mean, I spent a couple $100,000 developing this tool about 4 or 5 years ago. We're going to put it up in the web so you can access it and use it as a CRM and use it the same way we use it. Cool. Pretty exciting. There's like 6 or 7 other things happening. So, I do need to be here, but what a different lifestyle. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I swear I've gained 5 pounds. In California, we don't even have a television. There's just too much fun stuff to do, and it's right at the doorstep.
You know, here's something funny about that.
I'm not knocking Scottsdale. I'm just saying.
Kid number 2 totally agrees with the no TV.
Oh, wow.
You know what?
What'd you do to him? You punched
which I
him?
really thought.
You punched him.
No,
He
he's
was sleeping.
no, but he said you're right. TV's stupid. Who watches TV? If you want to watch something, no, you watch it Netflix or YouTube or whatever. So, anyway, that's it.
Number 3 said, "Why would you watch TV? Because you can't do anything with it. Like you can't. You just have to sit there and watch it. It controls you." Instead of like doing, on a computer or whatever, you can do stuff.
Yep.
And that makes complete sense.
You know what? Kid number 2 got to meet one of his YouTube idols, like literally on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, it's
too.
really cool. So I didn't realize. So he's gotten into these. He likes the Japanese classic cars. So there's a Japanese classic car show out here. Well, how did he find out about it? From this YouTuber that he watches who lives in New Jersey, who's a former BMX guy. His name's Ryan. I don't know his last name. So he's a BMX guy gone viral, and he has all this money. His dad did shop and whatever anyway, and now he's into Japanese classic cars, and he does a YouTube thing like daily about cars and all this good stuff. So kid number 2's been watching this guy. Well, he found out through YouTube that the guy's going to be in California when he's in California at the Long Beach Car Show. So of course we went to the Long Beach Car Show. So, and it's so funny. So he got to bump into the guy and shake his hand and take some pictures, and it's not like it's the guy's really famous. I think he doesn't have 1 million followers, but he's in the 500,000 follower range.
Good.
So it's he's been growing. So it was really good. So it's
I
kind
saw
of
the
funny.
stuff you guys posted on Facebook. It looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really good. Cool.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We're the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
and really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.